Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Redskins Talk TV. This is your host, Dre. I just want to talk about this upcoming game for Week 6. Washington Redskins going over to Arizona to face the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be a tough game, just like it was against the Seattle Seahawks, another NFC West team. Cardinals have been playing pretty well, just had their first loss handed to them by the Broncos. Now, I was looking at some game footage from previous weeks as well as the most recent game with them. Just wanted to give a couple of my takeaways as far as what we might be able to do in order to secure a victory. It's going to be a tough game, but this is a game in which we have that potential to win. All three phases, offense, defense, and special teams, are going to have to be clicking and well-disciplined if that's possible. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Now, as far as with the offense, because you have the Arizona, when I'm looking at their statistics throughout the season, categorically they are within the bottom 10 in all phases for offense. However, they are able to score points. I think what's really keeping them in the game is the fact that they have a very strong defense. Overall, they're ninth in the league. I believe the Washington Redskins, I can't remember, like either 16th or 19th in the overall defense. But when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, our defense is going to have to focus on whoever's going to be behind center at quarterback. Drew Stanton, he was concussed against the Broncos, so Logan Thomas came in to spell for him. Carson Palmer, he's still out, I believe, with a shoulder injury, so we're going to have to see what happens there. Don't know who's going to be starting. Probably Drew Stanton. If he does play, he gets the ball out of his hands kind of quick in some cases, especially if our defense, especially our corners, are able to seal down the wide receivers, because you have big Michael Floyd. You also have Larry Fitzgerald, also big and an excellent route runner. So our corners are going to have to be able to play their receiver, play them tight. Getting them jammed at the line of scrimmage is not going to be an easy task. Michael Floyd in particular, because he's huge. So at least being able to delay his release off that line of scrimmage and not give so much cushion, that's going to be a key for our corners. Unfortunately, I can say this all week, every week, but that's not going to happen, because we always see our corners giving some sort of generous cushion, whether it's 5 or 10 yards, but trying to keep the play in front of them with the bend but don't break philosophy, which drives me fucking crazy. But it's going to be tough, because Emerson, if he's too busy peeking in the backfield, he's going to let the pass catcher get behind him, and that's going to lead to a big gain and or a touchdown. So both Emerson and Brashad Breeland are going to have to play very smart defense, play the man, play the wide receiver, stay in the hip pocket, and keep them from catching the ball. Don't try to be so anxious to get that interception, because once again, I would personally like for them to be able to defend the pass and not allow the receivers to catch anything, or at least make sure that they have a strong tackle, which we've also had some difficulty with. Not too sure as far as with their tight end. I can't remember his name, but linebackers and safeties going to have to keep an eye on that. I'm not sure what type of defense we're going to be playing, but keeping some guys over the top, or at least one deep safety to protect, because both Larry Fitzgerald and Michael Floyd can get deep. They have other receivers as well, but those are the two primary concerns. For running back, they have Andre Ellington, good slashing receiver. If we can shut down the run, which I think we have a better opportunity to shut down the run, it's going to force them to become more one-dimensional. It's just a matter of shutting them down in that aspect as well. So being able to stop Andre Ellington from getting out of the backfield when he's taking the handoff from whoever's at quarterback, we're going to have to gang tackle him, get him down. He's also a pretty decent pass catcher out of the backfield. So just like with a lot of previous games, having someone that's going to keep an eye on any of the running backs that are coming out of the backfield, not letting them run freely. Drew Stanton, you're not going to see much of him scrambling. He can run. I think all quarterbacks and all teams can run. But then you have your mobile quarterbacks like RG3, you have Russell Wilson, you have Colin Kaepernick. They're not going to be quite at that level, but any quarterback can get out of the pocket. So it's just a matter of primarily keeping anyone from getting a free release or just getting open. So that's going to be the responsibility for the safety or linebacker to keep an eye on that, to shut that down. When it comes to our offense, establishing the run, it's going to be extremely difficult, because the Arizona Cardinals have the second-rate defense against the run. But we still have to lean on it because there's always going to be a chink in the armor to where you can actually get some gains. But we have to have a balance so that we don't become one-dimensional. Otherwise, Kirk Cousins might find himself in a situation just like he did with the New York Giants where he's passing. And we have the likes of Patrick Peterson, a little bit of an ankle problem, but still one of the top cornerbacks in the league. Smart, extremely smart cornerback who plays his receiver, lets the play come to him. So he's keeping an eye on what the receiver's doing. And when he sees the receiver trying to react to a potential pass coming his way, that's when Peterson reacts. So he's not often beat. He can be beat. I think any corner can be beat. But he's such a savvy corner that whether he's going up against Deshaun Jackson or Pierre Garçon, it's a matter of getting a little bit of separation and playing physical. Peterson, he's got some pretty decent size, but the main thing is he's going to be staying in the hip pocket, which is how I prefer a corner. I mean, if the receiver catches over him, at least if there's tight coverage, then you know that he's doing his job. He just has to be more focused when the ball is coming in. So that's one of the things that we have to do as far as our wideouts, getting that separation and getting off the line of scrimmage, because the Cardinals, they'll play tight at the line of scrimmage, which is how I like to see it, and that's how most teams play us. I think Garçon struggled a little bit, not necessarily getting off the jam because he's one of the bigger receivers. He's probably the biggest receiver on the team, but just fighting the jam from the corner and getting open. Kirk Cousins had to rely more on Deshaun Jackson with that last game. I think the key to our offense in this game is more going to be with the play of the tight ends, whether it's Niles Paul, Jordan Reed. He should be returning on this game. If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be the X factor in this. I don't think the linebacker's going to be able to keep up with him. I think when I'm looking at the game with the Arizona Cardinals and the Broncos, Julius Thomas was really, really hurting that defense as a tight end because he's a big tight end. Gets good separation off of the line of scrimmage and separation away from the linebacker or safety that's covering him. So Kirk Cousins is going to have to make some really good decisions, get the ball out of his hand quickly, and just set it in there just right. Just pass it with a bit of finesse to allow for the receivers to catch it. But at the same time, it's the responsibility of the pass catcher to build that confidence for the quarterback to throw his way. So I think, once again, Niles Paul, he can catch, not so great as a blocker, so him staying in to block, he will miss some assignments. Jordan Reed is still developing into a good blocker when he can stay healthy, but as a catcher, he's a very dynamic weapon that we can utilize. So hopefully he'll be able to step on the field and make a difference. The running game, once again, is going to be extremely difficult. Hopefully we won't decide to run on the right side because I'm always critical of Chris Chester and Tyler Columbus on that right side because they are the weakest link on the offensive line. We have Trent Williams, who's still dinged up, bad knee. We should be getting Laval back at left guard, so welcome him coming in. We're doing pretty good at center, so everything should go well there. A bit of stretch plays. I think that's not going to necessarily work because the Cardinals are really good at sideline-to-sideline pursuit to get to the ball carrier out of the backfield. It's just a matter of our offensive linemen and whoever's blocking, whether it's a tight end or a fullback, just sustaining their block and creating those holes to allow for Alfred Morris to get in there. I think if Roy Hilo gets in there, he's a bit more shifty than Morris, so you'll see him hurdle defenders trying to go for his legs, so he has a pretty good timing. But it's going to be a good mix of those two, and hopefully Alfred Morris will have a productive day. Still yet to eclipse the 100-yard mark in last game. Only had, 12, 13 carries. So they really need to get the ball into his hands just to create more opportunity to get some second and shorts, third and shorts. But at the same time, play calling for Gruden in terms of more straight line running instead of the stretch plays to where defenders are easily getting into the backfield or get the back end pursuit from the linebackers and linemen. Hopefully we'll have a good game plan against the Cardinals. Also, as far as with our defense, discipline with Kerrigan. I think Kerrigan might have a pretty decent game as far as getting to whoever's at the quarterback. Once again, it's still out of defense. Since we're not going up against a very mobile quarterback, He's going to be not necessarily stationary, but he's going to be easier to home in on for a Rock Pro as long as they're not holding, because he was getting held a lot. So we'll see what happens there. And special teams, of course, we just need for Andre Roberts to be able to get up the field, follow his blocks. Don't try to create something by juking and jiving, using all the lateral movements, because as he's moving laterally, the guys are still coming at him, so they're closing distance. He just needs to get up the field and get as much yardage as possible. As far as us defending against the kick returns and punt returns, just staying home, not creating a sense of the defenders, our guys, going to one side of the field, leaving the other field open, because once they change directions, if our guys get caught up with each other, we look like Keystone Cops tripping over each other's feet. But these are just a couple of the keys in order for us to beat the Arizona Cardinals. This is a winnable game. It's going to be a tough game, definitely. But at this point, every win or every game is a must-win situation. It's not going to get any easier for us right now, being in the cellar of the NFC East. I still hold faith to my team because as a Redskins fan, that's what I should do. But we're hoping that Kirk Cousins and the game plan and the game calling or play calling from Coach Gruden is going to benefit our players. But we really need to get a run game established, and that should hopefully open up the passing. But once again, go ahead and share your comments and your opinions. And if you like this video, I hope that you like, subscribe, and share to my Redskins family. Help to the Redskins.